ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming on such a rainy evening in October. I'd like to welcome all the people and friends of the McDermott, Sean McDermott. I'd like to thank Marcus Howard for arriving here. I'd like to thank the diaspora and descendants of the McDermott family and all the councillors and our TD Martin Kenny for arriving. And it's as predicted, all the seats are full, which I'm very happy to say. I'm just going to make a little note that we also, Kiltyclogher, were the winners of the PPN Community Award for Resilience. And so, coming from the seat of Sean McDermott, that's a nice thing, you know. And there's also Marcus. Like Marcus's work and all our work is all mostly voluntary, so there's people in the Heritage Centre that works voluntary and helps us out, and there's two can't be here tonight and they both give their apologies. One is Hubert McMorrow and the other is Joe Sheeran. But we know that all of you have done so much work for Sean McDermott over the years. All of you have, just even in passing the words, and it's a great thing to do things by word of mouth. But Marcus went out of his way, and he's not from Kiltyclogher, and he's made a great effort at bringing us to a new milestone in the story of Sean McDermott. As you know, Sean McDermott was a very secretive man, and he had to be, because his hero was Robert Emmet. And Robert Emmet had his own rising in Dublin, but it failed because of informers. So that's why there isn't much history on Sean, because he kept it so secret. And that's why he is probably one of Ireland's greatest revolutionaries and heroes. And Marcus has brought us to a great length, a new milestone in this ever-ending story, because every day you can ask Joe, Mairead or Hubert, we hear all new things about Sean from different parts of the country. People arrive up and tell us stories, and we write them down and we document them. And I'd like you to give a warm Bill Boss for Marcus Howard, who's going to have a few words before we show the show.
How you doing, folks? I was only saying to Kieran, I don't think many people will show up because of the weather. Boy, was I proved wrong. I just wanted to say that I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. The film Sean McDermott at Easter Rising Story is part of the reason that I was so interested in filming this story, and I explained it at the time to Hubert and I explained it at the time to Kieran. I have my own 1916 relatives that were over in Louth. Okay, then what's that got to do with here? Well, what it had to do with here was that 2 or 3 years before 1916, Sean McDermott was there. And he was helping to organise. Now, I've made about 144 films to do with the 1916 relations, okay, since, or the 1916 revolutionaries since 2015. And one of the things I couldn't get over was how many times Sean McDermott came up in witness statements, in terms of people's stories. It was either Sean McDermott or Sean McDermott, okay, or different spellings of his name, but either way, he kept coming up. He was the heart, the beating soul of the revolution. And I'll tell you one thing, John McManus, who sends apologies for not being here, but has said that if Dublin could have the same, could claim the same birthplace of Sean McDermott, he would be far more well known now. I was saying to the McDermott family, and thank you so much for coming, all of you, but part of the reason why Sean McDermott wasn't well known was because he didn't want to be well known. He wanted to be the guy behind the scenes. Like I said to you there a few minutes ago, it's like a business, okay? And you have got your public figurehead, and you let them do all the talking. What's the person behind the scenes that's pulling the strings? And him and Tom Clark were the people who did that. Now, I won't stay too long, but I just wanted to say this to you. I've filmed, and I will continue to film some of the stories, but I wanted to say a couple of words of thanks to a few people, if that's okay, before we go on. I'd especially like to thank Kieran Rock, who's pulled out all the stops here. I've said to him when I came in here an hour or two ago, I wish people in Dublin could organise as good an event as what he's done here today. Okay, so could you give a round of applause? How I got started with this is because of my relation to Sinead McDermott, okay, and she put me in touch originally with Hubert McMorrow. and that's part of the reason the story got started, okay? I'd like to thank Maura, Rose, Theo, and all the McDermott family who've come along today. I'd also like to thank Jean, my girlfriend, who got me up here and who's filming this today. My mother, who filmed at the time, can't make it, or if she can, she'll be late. She's been delayed because of the weather with the roads. All the music, all the colorized photos that you see in this film, it's all voluntary, okay? It's not like we're making any money from this. I'm dedicating this film to the Kiltyclogher Heritage Centre. They can use it however they wish in terms of the centre to help people get educated, get interested in Sean McDermott. It is so important for you to have this even as a tourist potential. You have such tourist potential with this man, but not only that, never mind tourism, he should be remembered from a history point of view. You know, we're at a time where in our history, in education, history's been made a part-time subject for school kids now. So it's more important than ever for us to remember who we are, where we came from, and so we can learn from that. Okay, so please enjoy the film. You know, if there's going to be some fantastic apple tart served halfway through the film. So we'll be stopping around 40 minutes, 42 minutes for about 20 minutes, half an hour, I think, and then we're going to show the 5 minutes, sorry, and then we're going to show the so eat quickly, and then we're going to show the 1916 part then after that. So I sincerely and heartmost thanks to you all for coming out. I wasn't sure if it'd be a whitewash. You proved it wasn't. You must be the same spirit of Sean McDermott. Thanks very much.